I had never pursued anything that had to do with finance, with numbers, and I had the opportunity to spend a summer. I was still teaching, and for the summer, in 1976, 77, the place to be in Chicago was the Chicago Mercantile Exchange or the Chicago Board of Trade. Chicago was the hub for commodities trading, and so I knew some people who were in that business, and they said, "Oh, come and be a runner for the summer." The runners were like the clerks that ran in and out of the pits to fill orders. And so I did that and was really attracted to this world. Thought like, what? I can do this. This was a world of equal opportunity for all. There were people who dropped out of high school who were standing in the pits with people who had PhDs in finance and economics, for example. And the pits, I should say, this was, if you've ever seen pictures of it, it's open outcry. And there's pits were literally pits where people would stand shoulder to shoulder on these risers. And they would call out, buy one, buy sold, and it was chaotic. So at the time, this was 1977, it was, I eventually got a seat at the exchange. So I was now in the pits trading. I'm barely 5'1", but there are only like 5 women who are on this whole huge trading floor. I mean, it was like walking into a men's locker room, and there were people who were, because they were those who were in the pits, it was an advantage to be loud and big. So there were these ex-football players and these huge guys, and I'm like standing crushed between them. You were knocked down, you were spit on, you lost your voice. It was chaotic, and it was extremely stressful. And so I learned a lot. I didn't last. I quickly realized this was not for me. I liked being in the helping profession. And so I eventually went back, got more certificates in early childhood education, for example, started teaching in a teacher training program, then got my doctorate in clinical psychology. I went on to have a practice in mind-body medicine for many, many years, doing biofeedback. What I learned from that year of trading was to trust your instinct, but also to use prudence. There were people who took extreme risks and ended up losing a fortune, but also to focus on what really matters. And I saw people who were not driven by meaning and purpose, their only meaning, because this was a place where you didn't, if you were an independent trader, you didn't work for anybody, nobody worked for you, it was just you. And you were, at the end of the day, it was basically, did I lose money? Did I make money? And so many people got into trouble with their values with that, because it led to drugs and alcohol and overspending, and as opposed to working in a way that it's satisfying a sense of purpose. And what I found since being in health and wellness and getting to know many people who are very successful in this space is that it starts with mission to help people lead healthier lives, for example. And that is sustainable. The other thing I learned at year at the exchange is, and afterwards, as I followed people who were in that business, is the ability to pivot, because there is no open outcry anymore. The commodities floors do not exist. It's all on computers. The big banks got involved. It's all computer trading. And so many people were clinging to that old way of being, like, oh, there'll always be the pits, there'll always be room for this type of trading. Well, no, that didn't happen. But they were not willing or felt that they were capable to learn this new system of trading. And so they ended up, having to really shift and suffer major economic setbacks as a result.
Yeah, it's a fascinating window into like how humans collaborate or cooperate or compete